City News is brought to you by East Brewster Lawyers Rotorua, celebrating 100 years of legal excellence and innovation.
Good evening, Rotorua. Tonight on City News, up to 10,000 competitors and 20,000 supporters are in town for the 50th anniversary of the Rotorua Marathon. Round 2 of Creation Fest auditions are on this weekend at the Blue Baths, and local women learn chainsaw awareness skills as part of Chainsaw Safety Week. But first, police are reminding drivers to take extra care on Monday as schools reopen from the holiday break. They also say that speed zones around schools will be strictly monitored and enforced. Well, the beautifully fine weather we've been having over the last few days has seen children out enjoying the last days of the holidays. More FM breakfast host Andy George was out with a group of young people yesterday sharing his mini-golf skills. Round 2 of Creation Fest auditions are on this weekend at the Blue Baths. Organiser Joe Ramone says it's for talented kids under 20 who are able to step up to the challenge of potentially performing at 5 live shows in the July school holidays. For more information, visit creationfest.co.nz, or of course you can call the Blue Baths. Local women were offered the chance of learning how to use a chainsaw safely at the Rotorua Still Shop yesterday. The event is part of Chainsaw Safety Awareness Week, with women's training sessions being held around the country and run by the Dairy Women's Network in partnership with the Still Dealership Network.
How important is chainsaw safety here in our country?
Well, as we were just talking about before, Alan, we've got up to 6 injuries a day occurring with chainsaws, so that's a significant number. The benefit of a day like we're running here today is about introducing the public to saws, making sure they're more aware of safe use, as this particular event's focused around women. There's more and more women using saws, both domestically and commercially. Chainsaws are potentially a pretty dangerous tool. A great asset, but in the right hands, a safe machine, in the wrong hands, not so. So it's a great day for us to introduce people to tools.
And in sport tonight, this is the big
last
one.
week,
Up
Mark,
to
we caught up with a young
10,000
guy, Dylan
competitors
Joel,
and
and he grew a
20,000
pumpkin
supporters
of 40
are in town
kgs,
for
and
the
he said he
50th
hugged his
anniversary
pumpkin
running
every
of the
morning,
Rotorua Marathon.
morning.
Today, walkers and runners and the general public were able to sample a wide variety of products and services at the ASICS Expo.
40 kilograms,
this is the 50th and it's a memory time, isn't it, to create memories?
It is. We've got obviously the marathon book, and we've got the marathon boards which show survivors and all the people that have run in the races. But because it's the 50th and we wanted to make it special, with everyone's getting a medal, so that's something that they'll remember the race by. But if you're not a marathon runner or you're not a marathon finisher, then we just want to say, well, you had a fantastic time at the 50th marathon. It wasn't just about the running, it was all about the other fun events.
To your weather now, and the forecast for tonight is for fine weather with light winds and an overnight low of 4. Tomorrow, Saturday, fine spells, light winds, a high of 18 and a low of 9. And for Sunday, cloudy periods, light winds, a high of 18 and a low of 11. And the marine forecast for Lake Rotorua for tomorrow, Saturday, variables to 5 knots, waves less than half a metre, fine and cloudy periods. And still to come in tonight's program, more from the ASICS Expo on at the Energy Events Centre. We check out some massive pumpkins grown by farmer Mark Dibley, and we hear about a 3-day blitz being undertaken by Gideons to deliver new Bibles to accommodation providers in Rotorua.
We're down here at the Rotorua Energy Event Centre, and it is a huge weekend, and today being Friday, leading up to the 50th marathon, the 50th Rotorua Marathon. It's a huge weekend, probably one of the biggest events on the calendar, and the organisers of the event and the peripheral things that are happening here at the Energy Event Centre have gone all out to make it a really palatable event for not just athletes and their support crew and so on, but the whole of the family, mum and the kids, everybody basically. And with me is one of the driving forces behind it and one of the organisers, Sandra Kaifong. This is huge. This is going to be such an exciting weekend, and you've been involved in organising what we have here today as an exhibitor's paradise, if you like, leading up to the marathon tomorrow. But what's happening here today and tomorrow, actually?
Well, Wayne, we've set up a whole lot of exhibitors' sites, so we've got things for people to buy and are not just for runners, because we have to remember that with every runner there are two supporters, so there are things for the family and for the kids. And we've also got lots of things to eat that are a bit different from your normal...
That's another language altogether, the food thing, isn't it?
Chips and coffee. So you can have things from a paella to a hot potato to a freshly squeezed juice. You can even go and make your own smoothie by riding the bike and mashing up a few bananas.
Wow. So they've thought of everything, and obviously one of the things that they did last year was to have an expo like that, but it was more on the athletic side and so on. But it really is a family event. It's not just for, as we said before, it's not just for the athletes and so on. What's been involved in getting people together? Because you've talked about the food side, and I know you've worked very closely with Bridget Nelson from the night markets and so on. She's brought the day markets in here, and as we're going to see, as we're talking, see some shots of what's happening here as well. So it's a mixed event, isn't it?
It is. It's a mixture of bringing the night market to the expo, adding on to the event, because we know that the 50th Rotorua Marathon was going to be a fantastic event in itself, but it was just how could we add value and make the event just a little bit more exciting, and also to give something else for the spectators and also for the local community to do. So we want all the Rotorua people to come down, support the marathon, but also come and enjoy the expo.
Absolutely, and there is literally something for everybody. In terms of organising it and the types of people that you've brought in as exhibitors or whatever, how do you get in touch with them every year and support the whole thing to get it going every year, even though it's the 50th?
Well, this year we obviously had lots of people that were interested who
Sure.
were involved in running and walking, but also we just wanted to find some things that were related to Rotorua, because this is a perfect opportunity to promote Rotorua. We've got 85% of our our runners who are from out of town.
Yes.
And so what better way to promote Rotorua when you're going to run around our lovely lake? You can
Hopefully
sell
in
them
good
some of
weather.
our products and
Yeah.
tell them to come back next time if they have a fantastic time here this weekend.
And just walking around too, I've noticed that you've encompassed a lot of things that are non-related but related to people as such. There's even almost an art gallery here. There's artwork, there's posters, there's photos and so on. So lots of variety.
Just wanted to make it a bit more fun, and also we wanted to give everyone a little taste of something. And so the art we thought was fantastic because they're local artists and a lot of the art is about Rotorua, and it was just a fantastic way of being able to set that up in the art gallery, so we've called that Art on the Run.
It's very good. And also lots of sort of retail type situations where businesses have come on board to be part of it all. This is the 50th and it's a memory time, isn't it, to create memories?
It is. We've got obviously the marathon book, and we've got the marathon boards which show survivors and all the people that have run in the races. But because it's the 50th and we wanted to make it special, with everyone's getting a medal, so that's something that they'll remember the race by. But if you're not a marathon runner or you're not a marathon finisher, then we just want to say, well, you had a fantastic time at the 50th marathon. It wasn't just about the running, it was all about the other fun events.
And the idea of bringing the whole family down in terms of being involved with the whole thing, it's being part of an atmosphere that is not going to be repeated so heavily because this is the 50th.
That's right, not in our lifetime, Wayne.
I like the way she said that. But yeah, congratulations to you and the team. Let's talk about that just briefly. It's not just yourself, obviously, you've got broad shoulders, but it is a team thing to get this whole thing set up.
Definitely is. So I have to thank Murray from Event Promotions, who's been involved in running the race, my business partner Bridget Nelson involved with the food vendors, and a big thanks to Carl Jackson from Athletics New Zealand who have put this all together as well.
And one of the things I was quite pleased about is there's plenty of coffee flowing too, isn't there?
Oh, definitely plenty of coffee for you, Wayne.
Us latte freaks, as it were. Again, congratulations on a great event. We're hoping, of course, after today, and we should emphasise for the people at home that this whole expo and everything we've talked about today here on the Friday but leading leading up to the event is all still happening here tomorrow.
And it's open to the public and it's free entry.
Absolutely.
Love to see you down here.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. How many bowls of pumpkin soup can you get from this massive pumpkin? Well, the answer is none, because it's totally inedible. And to tell me why is Mark Dibley. Thanks for joining us today, Mark. Now, why is this pumpkin not edible?
Well, I think mainly because they're just too watery. When you're growing them, you just water all the time, and basically they're 90% water. So I don't think they've got much taste to them.
It's only good for cattle feed, really.
Yes, cattle and sheep like them. Sheep in particular, they just gnaw away at them for a long, long time, until they're gone.
Now, the reason we came out to see you, Mark, is that you won the annual Brownies pumpkin growing competition, and you guys won.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
It's quite a sought-after trophy to win these days. Brownie's had it going for, this is 19 years, so he's into his 20th year next year. And there's several people have had their name on the trophy 2 or 3 times, and it's just a neat day. And I've only been involved in it for probably 10 or 12 years. And when I first started, I thought I'll show these guys how to grow a pumpkin, but I bombed out for the first couple of years. So and it's just you learn a little bit every year.
Now, this is a bit of a family dynasty for you, because you entered a pumpkin, your wife Sophie, your daughter Tina, who's over there watching, and also your dad Eddie all entered this competition as well.
Yes, they did. I think there's an extra Dibley actually enters it every year. And we've got I've got nieces and nephews coming down from Whitianga now, and they enter a couple of pumpkins into the dress-up part of the competition each year, and they really love it too. It's quite a good thing for kids. The kids seem to have a good day, being Easter weekend, and it's always has a bit of an Easter egg theory to it, and the kids seem to really love it. They have a ball.
Now, last week, Mark, we caught up with a young guy, Arthur Joel, and his pumpkin was 46 kgs, and he won a child's category in a pumpkin growing competition. And he said he hugged his pumpkin every morning, and that's why it got so big. So do you do anything like that?
No, I don't, but I do tend to look at it most days, usually because it's close to the house. But it is very important to water it every day, so we make sure it gets water every day, particularly during the summer, or every second day at least. So, yeah, we do look at it quite often, but no, I don't hug it every day. But I know in the States, it's big time. They put shelters over it, and sometimes electric blankets on them at nights, and blankets and what have you, and it's a big thing over in America.
Now, apart from the kudos of winning Brownie's pumpkin growing competition, was there a prize involved?
Yes, the top 8, I think, got prizes, and there were several for the kids as well. But the prize money's nothing. I think the trophy is the big thing. Everybody wants to have the trophy and have their name on it, and that's a big thing of the day. But it's just a fun day, and it's not too serious. And there's a lot of joking and chucking off, and banter around the whole district about who's grown the biggest one. But it's just a fun day, really.
Now, every year there's donations from the proceeds made to a local charity. Did you do that again this year?
Yes. For a long, long time, the winner got to choose what charity it went to. But I think the last 4 or 5 years, Brownie's just decided that it would go to hospice. So that's a good charity on its own. So every year he makes sure he raises $1,000. I think he gets $800 from entries, and then just has a bit of a raffle around on the day and picks up another $50 here and there, and he rounds it up to $1,000.
Oh, that's a good amount, isn't it?
And he gives them $1,000 every year. And there's a lot of businesses around, particularly in Nongataha, that donate prizes, and there's always quite good prizes there, really.
Yeah.
First prize gets a half a ham from Creans in Rotorua. And just a little bit something special, I suppose, for the first prize getter, as well as the trophy.
Now, before we go, Mark, is there any advice you'd like to give some of our viewers if they're keen to get into some pumpkin growing?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm certainly not the expert at growing it. I had a disaster last year. I thought I was going to show them all how to grow pumpkins, and you fertilise it too much at the start and you kill them. So they need a lot of fertiliser and they need a lot of water, but at the beginning I don't think they need too much. But once they get all their leaves and that growing, they do take quite a bit. But no, everybody's got their own little secret remedies, and I don't know. There's probably a lot of secrets out there that nobody's going to tell either.
All right, Mark, we'll have another look at these pumpkins because they are pretty amazing. There's 4 of them here, so we'll leave it there and we'll catch up with you next year when you win.
Yeah, well, it's his 20th next year, and he's going to go all out. He reckons he's going to have a bit bigger event next year, so prize money might be bigger too, so
awesome.
We'll have to work a bit harder.
All right, appreciate your time. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, if you've stayed in one of the very many motels that we have around this country, you may be familiar with the Bible sitting in one of the top drawers. And the Gideon Association that put them in there, and I'm joined now by 2 of the members here in Rotorua. We're at St Andrew's Church on the corner, and you have both been very busy men. Can I get you first to introduce yourselves?
I'm Melvin Bowen, and I happen to be the camp chaplain, but I'm a member of Gideon's International.
Nice.
I'm David Brackfield, and I'm the president of Rotorua Camp and a member of Gideon's International as well.
And so you look like smiley chaps. You've been doing a bit of work lately to get some good news out to people. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Well, we're excited to be here standing with you amongst this huge, 6,500 more than Bibles and New Testaments. And we have witnessed and helped with the sticking or the opening of the boxes and the placing of the labels inside, which identifies them and has a call number for anyone who wants further information in the hotel or motel. So every Bible has been opened, and there's been a lot of work done, not just by David and I, but by volunteers from different church groups to put the stickers in.
Well, how many volunteers did you have, and what was that process like? A full house?
Well, we had volunteers of a young group from the Fenton Park Bible Church, and then we had them stickering, helping loading them off the truck. So we had 5 tons of Bibles arrived. There's actually 7,500 in here. Yeah, so we got another 1,000, which I'm not sure where they came from.
I hope you haven't misplaced them.
And so we had to get them off the truck and in. They formed a human chain because there was about 8 or 9 of them, and we pulled them into this room. And since then, Mel has organised the Calvary Chapel to come in and, first of all, he had a group of
We've had older people, retired people from the over 50s group belonging to both Roosevelt Road Bible Church and Fenton Park Bible Church. Right. And they had fun because it's always fun when you get together and talk and work. And then the Bible Institute.
Then we had the Bible Institute, Calvary Chapel Bible Institute come in. And they were a fun lot of them Americans, and they really did. They sung while they were doing it, and afterwards we got him. Well, they were helping us, but we got invited to tea afterwards, and they took us down to Starbucks and shouted us all a
bonus.
Yeah.
Bonus. There's some fellowship and some friendship as well, by the sounds of it. So, tell us about this whole movement of having the Bibles available in the motel and hotels around New Zealand.
Well, most of the many hotels and motels in Rotorua do accept them. There are a few who say, no, we don't want any Bibles, anything religious. But the majority, probably 95%, have them. And so we then take them in there, present them, and so 95% or some such large figure have already got them, and they've got the New King James Version, and they're going to be replaced by this one, which is the English Standard Version, and we will take the other ones out.
Do you find that they're very popular? Do many go missing? You know, that
Yes.
get packed into suitcases?
But they do. Just the other day, I was talking to one of the motels we went, and they said they wanted another 8, and they only have 14 rooms. And I said, "Oh, that's a large number." He said, "Yes." He said we had a group of Koreans came through, and he said they, you know, a lot of them are into the Bible, and they asked whether we could take them. We weren't sure, they said, but we thought we'd give them to them anyway. And when they rang us and told us, we said, "Praise the Lord." We said, "Thank you for the that, because we'll give you replacements."
Thank you both very much for your time and for the hard work that you're doing. And do you have something that you'd like to share just at the end? I can see you're bouncing at the bit to get one final thing out.
Right there, thank you for allowing me. 26 different languages are listed in the front, both of the full Bibles and in the New Testament that goes to the schools, which some students find attractive because they're studying languages. There is 26, if you like, major languages, ranging from Arabic, as I have it open here, German, English, of course, even Hebrew, Greek. And so someone who is into languages can read John 3:16 in their own language and know that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Now, Graham, I can't read that in Japanese, but I can read it in English.
Very
So
nice.
it's God's word, and it's the central verse. Thank you.
And that was Kiri Danielle with Melvin Bowen and Dave Brackfield from Gideon's Rotorua. And if you'd like to see our show again, visit our website tvrotorua.co.nz. And to call the station and talk to one of our team, feel free to ring 07 34 88 984. We hope you have a safe and enjoyable weekend, and happy birthday Rotorua Marathon, 50 years young. See you again next week. Pamarie.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
City News was brought to you by East Brewster Lawyers Rotorua, celebrating 100 years of legal excellence and innovation.